Okay, so we started with the simple drill. Now we work with the guy on top. Now we're going to work for the guy on the bottom. Since we start with the mounted position, we're going to work one of two positions that I want to see you do when we're in the mounted position. First, Will's going to bring his feet as close to his bottom as he can get them, and he's going to raise his toes. That has a specific purpose. Raising my toes allows me to pull my pelvis off the ground just a bit. I don't have to have a, doesn't have to be way high up here, but he doesn't want his hips flat on the ground either. If his hips are flat on the ground, it's easy for me to control them, it's easy for me to put weight on his diaphragm and make it hard for him to breathe, and it's easy to make it uncomfortable. By raising his toes, the weight now goes into his heels. So when you get that wrestler who wants to grapevine you and drive into that, those being up pushes the weight into the floor, drives me forward versus rooting me to your hips. And as I'm driven forward, puts my weight forward, makes it a lot easier for him to start working on the bump and roll and doing his Z-pop. With his arms, he's going to bring his elbows in tight. It's a little hard for Will, he likes his weight bench. So he's going to keep his elbows in and his hands in close. What he does not want are his arms extended. An extended limb is a broken limb, and that's how he gets arm barred, wrist locked, all kinds of fun stuff. So he's going to keep his elbows tight. The second position he'll work on, and we're going to go toward the camera on this one, he's going to drop this leg in and put this, marry this floor of this knee to the floor. He wants that tight, and again, you'll see why. You see he's got his arm in tight here. He's got his hand, it's just a cup here. That's all it is. He's not holding on to anything. He's just making a ledge that his wrist on the other side is going into, and this elbow again is tight. So you see this leg is up, this leg is down. He's going to have this in tight and this in tight. This gives him a stack of bones. So that when I'm trying to mount and I'm trying to put weight pressure into him, it's very hard to do. He can still talk. Say your ABCs.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yes. Okay? It keeps it very hard for me. Not impossible, but it makes it harder for me. And with this married to the floor, it's very hard for me to drive my hook underneath. So this is position 2. So we go 1, back in, boom, tight, hips off the floor just a little bit here, and then 2, so we just move, boom, 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 boom. The beauty here is that, and we'll start in position 1, is that as if all he does is sit here and does nothing, obviously I'm going to break down his posture, eventually, right? So as I start breaking his postures down and moving him down, we can move into position 2. And he gets in here, aha! Now he's kept me from getting in here, right? And I'm trying to work. And as soon as I start getting him to level back down, he goes right back to position 1. What he's not doing is waiting for me to get this so deep in here that by the time he starts the move, he's already in a choke. He's recognizing where he's already starting to lose this position. So if I start muscling him over and I get this arm up, he moves right into that position instead of waiting for me to push into it. Now as I move into side control on this side, the first option we're giving is he's going to turn into this side, and you notice he's going to have this elbow right around here. That's going to actually intercept my hip. This leg here is trying to get into the hip on the other side, and this arm is going to come up and under the far arm. Okay? So if I put myself into this position with him, I've got knee in the ear, knee in the hip, ear and hip on the other side. Let's rotate this one. And you can see that he is not flat. Okay? So the moment we make this transition, and he's in position 1, and I start to step over, he's automatically rolling into position 2. That's his job. This is where he's getting his training in. So we go back, step over. He's in position 1. I step over for mount, For side control, he goes position 2. Go back. He starts from position 2 of the mount. Boom. I step over. He's 3/4 of the way already to his side control position. There are other things we can work, other side control positions we can work, but for now, just stick with this basic one. And the key here is, he's not trying to bench press me and hold me off. He's holding his posture here. Outside 90 degrees, outside 90 degrees, and he's just holding this position. He's not trying to push me, he's maintaining his posture. So this way, he's keeping me from crushing him. Now as I move, I block his hip and I move to my north-south position. He's going to get into his better spot. He's doing a really good job. He's doing what he should be doing. He's keeping me from getting my elbows dug in. If you're paying attention, it's position 1 from the mount. A second option. A second option that we can give is as I move from side control, and he intercepts this, is now his arms, his hands go to the hips, and he's going to extend and lock his arms. If he can, if he needs to, he can walk himself away from me. Because what he wants is his arms locked. If he bends his arms, now it's a muscle thing. And you're always the bigger and stronger guy until you're not, and you usually discover that when it's too late. So he'll lock the elbows, so he's got a stack of bones, and now I'm trying to fight into it. And if you look, it's the same as mount position 1. It's just now his arms are here. He can get away with this because he's kept my weight from getting into him and on him. And yes, we can worry about all this stuff where my hips turn and twist and fall. This is a beginner's drill. It's the beginning of what we're working on. It's a starting position. A third position he can work on, if I beat him to the punch and I get my elbows in, is it's the same as that number 1 position from the mount, but this time he'll hug around as high as he can toward my head. Yeah, there we go. Because now, for me to sit up, I've got to pick him up too. I can't really punch. Very hard to get decent shots in here. Okay? Especially when he brings his hands up between my shoulder blades. Kaboom! Now I can't even get a good punch. I can't push up. I can't even get in here and start working these type chokes. So this time I block in, I go to my side control on this side, and guess what he does? Gets his arms, gets everything back in position like we did on the other side. And this is where I have to be a good partner. I'm going to give him the space, because remember we're learning, not competing. I'm going to give him the space to get his position how he needs it and where he needs it to. Now I'm going to grab the hip, I'm going to grab the collar, and I'm going to stiff arm, and I'm going to go to my knee on the stomach. For this one, he's going to bring his inside hand and hook here, take his top one, find my knot, and turn to face me. Boom. Just like that. Notice again. Very similar to position 2. It's just now he's managing to hold off that position a little bit. Okay? So he's cupped this knee right around the top of it, and he's doing again that stiff arm. If he does a bent arm, it makes it easier for me to turn and get him. When he puts a stiff arm in there, he's got a stack of bones. It makes it much harder for me to do any work. Now as I slide over to position 1, right to the mount, he goes into one of these top 2 positions. We are working together, not competing. Okay? So he's going to do one of his mount defenses, and I'm going to let him work into that position. When I change, I'm going to give him enough time and space to get his arms and stuff where he needs to. Now as I move, he's going to be able to get into the position he needs. And as I move, I'm going to give him time and space to get his arms in the position of where he needs them. As I move in, I'm going to give him time and position to get his space. And as I move, I give him time to get in. As we get better at this together, we can cut out how much space I give him. We can eliminate how much time I give him. He's also going to learn, especially as you notice on that far side control, this arm is getting stuck up top and he's really got to work to get it under. There are other places to put this arm that he'll be able to work on. But for now, top guy for a simple drill, bottom guy for simple drill, and we put it together, we get to work together, and that's what we're looking for.